Good morning, artists. Today I am coming to you from the middle of a forest, but not really. Actually, I'm sitting in front of a green screen in my house, and my real background looks like this.
But for me, making imaginary backgrounds with my green screen is one way of going on a trip without leaving the house, kind of like this walk we're taking through the forest right now. And that's important.
Because today's art project is all about drawing trees. There are lots of different kinds of trees, and they pop up in all kinds of landscape paintings from around the world. But I'm going to show you a couple ways that you can draw your own trees. These are just suggestions. If you have your own ideas for drawing trees, you can certainly do that. But sometimes it's helpful to have a couple different shapes to work from. So that's what we're going to start with today.
Here's one tree that I see a lot of people making in class. I call this the broccoli tree because the top looks to me like a head of broccoli. All the branches and leaves are mixed together there in one big shape, and we have a rectangle base that is our trunk. Nothing wrong with this tree, but let's look at some other ways.
The first tree example that I want to show you uses the basic shape of a triangle. That would be a pine tree. Some of you who celebrate Christmas might have this kind of tree in your house when it's holiday time. But starting with a tall triangle shape, we can make the base of this tree. And then we can add some texture on the side to be the branches or boughs. Another kind of tree that I want to tell you about is a tree that uses a basic Y shape.
Many of these Y-shaped trees are called deciduous trees. And what that means is trees whose leaves fall off and shed.
So you have the trunk in the middle, and then branches that fork off in opposite directions. And then kind of like my fingers are doing, each of those branches have other branches that fork off in other directions. So using this example, you can see how I can draw this kind of tree. This is the kind of tree that you might want to climb or that you might have a tree house in. Another kind of tree that you can draw is a palm tree. We have a lot of those here in Southern California. So for a palm tree, it's a tall, straight trunk shape, or sometimes a curved trunk shape, depending on the angle and the wind and how tall it's gotten. And then palm fronds, which are kind of like its branches and its leaves mixed together, come out the sides. You can make those by doing this pencil motion that I'm showing you. So those are three basic shapes of trees, but the nice thing about art is it doesn't have to be realistic. Maybe you want to make up your own kind of whimsical trees. One artist who did this really well was Dr. Seuss. If you have ever read the book, The Lorax, there are some really creative, whimsical tree shapes in that book.
My challenge to you today is to fill up your paper with as many different kinds of trees as you can. Today is just about experimenting with different tree shapes and going on a trip through your own imaginary forest.
Whether you decide to do this art project or something from your own imagination, the most important thing is that you are taking some time out of your day to exercise your creative muscles. And when you're finished, please hit that add response button and upload either a photo or a video of your work so I can see and comment. Have a great time creating, and I can't wait to see what you made.